When you walk through the journey of life, you'll find yourself at a crossroads, at times standing in the midst of confusion, wondering why things aren't working out the way you expected. Have you ever found yourself in a place where people smiled in your face but spoke behind your back? Have you ever been misjudged or misunderstood? I want to remind you today that no matter the storm, no matter the weight of the burdens you carry, there is one truth that will set you free. God is in the business of exposing the true faces of those around you, and when He does, it will be a revelation that will cause you to stand in awe of His timing, His wisdom, and His faithfulness. Listen, I need you to hear this. Sometimes God allows the shadows to stay hidden for a season, but there comes a point when He decides it's time for those shadows to flee, for the masks to come off. People may walk around wearing smiles and pretending, but God sees what's in the heart. He knows the intentions, the hidden agendas, and the subtle manipulations. He doesn't need to guess. He knows what's really happening behind closed doors. You see, in your life, there will always be those who try to act as if they are your ally, but their motives are not pure. There will always be those who speak with smooth words but carry a different agenda. Some people have a tendency to present themselves one way on the outside but are entirely different on the inside. God knows this, and in His perfect timing, He will pull back the curtains and reveal the truth. You see, God pulls us apart so that He can look at us and say, who or what are you? You've been walking with your head high, trusting people, believing in them, even going out of your way to help them. You've been the one to offer a hand when they needed it most, the one to encourage them when they were down. But now things have changed, haven't they? You've noticed the shift. The attitudes have changed. The smiles don't feel as genuine anymore. The gestures don't come with the same warmth. You're starting to feel the chill of their indifference, the distance they've created, the way they've turned their backs when you weren't looking. But don't be disturbed by what you see. Don't let it shake your confidence. Don't let it cause you to second guess the goodness that you've been sowing in the lives of others. Understand this: God is using the very situation to open your eyes. He's not doing it to hurt you. He's doing it to protect you. He's doing it because He loves you too much to leave you in the dark about the people who are surrounding you. He's doing it because He is positioning you for greater. Sometimes the hardest part of life isn't dealing with betrayal. It's dealing with the realization that people you trusted are not who you thought they were. That's painful. But you've got to learn how to rise above it, because the truth is, their deception cannot keep you from your destiny. The falsehoods they've created can't stop the plan that God has already written for your life. It doesn't matter how hard they try to cover up their intentions. God will expose the truth. In this moment, I want to speak to your spirit. Don't you dare allow yourself to get caught up in the web of trying to figure out who's for you and who's against you. Don't you dare waste another second of your energy trying to chase after people who were never meant to be in your corner. Don't spend your time trying to convince someone of your worth when your worth has already been established. Your value is not in the opinions of others. Your value is in the fact that you are chosen, you are loved, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you don't need to prove anything to anybody. God sees what's been hidden, and He's not in a hurry to reveal it, but in His perfect timing, He will make it clear. You've got to trust that He knows what He's doing. He's been watching it all along. And the moment the truth is exposed, you're going to realize that it wasn't about you. It was about God setting you free. It was about God making a way where there seemed to be no way. It was about God protecting you from the very people who were pretending to be something they were not. I know you've been hurt. I know you've been disappointed. I know you've been let down by people who said they had your back only to turn away when you needed them the most. But hear me, God is in control of every single detail of your life. He's never missed a beat. He knows the road ahead of you. He knows the heart of those around you, and He knows exactly when the truth needs to come to light. There's a scripture that says the truth will set you free. But let me tell you something. Sometimes the truth hurts before it heals. The truth might sting a little, but don't you dare shy away from it. Don't you dare run from it. Because once it's revealed, you will see the hand of God move like never before. You will see doors open that were previously closed. You will see people who were meant to keep you down fall back so that you can rise higher. You will see God move on your behalf in ways that you couldn't have imagined. God is not only revealing the truth about others, but he's also revealing the truth about you. He's revealing the strength you didn't know you had. He's revealing the resilience in your spirit. He's revealing the perseverance that has been growing inside of you, even in the toughest of times. He's revealing the capacity to forgive, the ability to love even when it hurts, and the power to walk in peace even in the midst of chaos. You're not here by accident. You've been chosen for such a time as this. And even though you face disappointment, even though you face betrayal, understand this: God is using every single one of those experiences to bring you to a place where you will be able to walk into the destiny that he has prepared for you. He is making you stronger. He is making you wiser. He is making you more discerning. And all of those things, along with everything else in your life that you feel is a sacrifice, your life was designed so you could be free. He is not making you stronger. He is making you wiser. He is making you wiser. You're going to walk into the next season of your life with eyes wide open. You're going to walk into a season of clarity where you no longer waste time with people who don't value you. You're going to walk into a season where you're no longer chasing after validation. You're going to walk into a season where you know exactly who you are and whose you are, and you will not settle. He's been closing doors that were never meant for you to walk through, and he's been opening windows of opportunity that will lead you into a future of abundance. It's time to stop questioning God's plan. It's time to stop worrying about the people who are trying to undermine you. It's time to stop giving energy to the negativity that surrounds you. Trust that God is at work. Trust that he's doing something greater than you can see right now. Trust that he's going to use what the enemy meant for evil and turn it around for your good. So hold your head up high, keep your faith strong, and remember this: no matter how long it takes, God will expose their true faces. When he does, you'll be standing stronger than ever before. You'll be standing in the full light of his purpose for your life, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop you. The speech emphasizes that while people may hide their true intentions, God is in control and will, in his perfect timing, expose the hidden truths. Trust that his revelations will come when you need them most. Don't be distracted by betrayal or deception. The message encourages staying focused on your own journey and not being consumed by the actions of others. God's plan for you will not be derailed by the falsehoods of others, and your worth is not determined by their opinions. God uses difficult situations, such as betrayal or disappointment, to strengthen you, build resilience, and sharpen your discernment. These experiences shape you for the greater purpose he has for you. Despite the challenges you face, God is working behind the scenes to protect you, remove the wrong people from your life, and guide you toward your destiny. The truth will set you free, and when it's revealed, you'll be ready to walk into a brighter future. There are moments in life when everything seems to be unfolding in ways that don't make sense. You look around and it feels like the world is full of uncertainty. People you trusted start to act differently. Situations that seem secure begin to crumble, and your heart begins to question what's happening. You can't always see it, but there's something bigger going on behind the scenes. And that something is God's perfect timing. Are to live in time, are to breathe, are to focus, are to root yet. In the midst of confusion and hurt, we often forget that God sees the whole picture. He sees the beginning, the middle, and the end. While we might only be able to see one step ahead, he sees the entire journey, and he has a plan that's bigger than anything we could ever imagine. So when we find ourselves questioning why things are happening the way they are, we must remember that God's timing is never early and it's never late. It is always just right. It's natural to feel frustrated when we're in the dark, when we don't have all the answers, and when it feels like we've been left out of the loop. But here's what we need to understand. Just because we don't see the full picture doesn't mean God isn't working. Just because we don't understand what's going on doesn't mean God isn't actively orchestrating every detail of our life. God's timing in revealing the truth is a process. And that process is necessary for our growth and protection. There will be times when people's true faces are hidden from us. Sometimes God allows the people around us to operate with masks, and we can't see who they really are. At first, their actions might seem harmless, their words might sound sincere, and their intentions might appear pure. But over time, as we continue to walk through life with them, things begin to shift. We start to notice the inconsistencies, the lies, and the subtle changes in their behavior. At this point, we might begin to question if we were wrong about them. But God is never caught off guard. He knows exactly what's happening, and He knows exactly when to reveal the truth. There are things we simply aren't ready to understand in the moment. Our hearts may still be in a place of forgiveness, compassion, or hope for reconciliation. Our minds might still be giving people the benefit of the doubt. We may not be prepared to face the reality of what someone truly believes or the depths of the deception they've been hiding. God, in His wisdom, knows exactly when we are spiritually and emotionally equipped to handle the truth. He knows when we are strong enough to stand firm in the knowledge of who someone really is, and He will reveal it when the time is right. This doesn't mean that God is being silent or indifferent. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges at us, often in the form of betrayal or deception from those we least expect. It's the people you thought you could trust, the ones you shared your heart with, that sometimes turn out to be the ones who hurt you the most. In those moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the hurt, confused by the actions of others, and consumed by the sense of betrayal. You might find yourself questioning everything you believed in, doubting your ability to judge people, and even doubting your own worth. But hear this, you must not allow yourself to be distracted by betrayal or deception. These things, while painful and disorienting, do not have the power to derail your destiny unless you allow them to. One of the most difficult things to understand when you're in the midst of betrayal is that it's not about you. It's about the weakness or issues within the person who betrays you. Betrayal, deceit, and manipulation are reflections of their struggles, their insecurities, and their lack of integrity, not of your value or your worth. The actions of others may be hurtful, but they don't define you. They don't diminish your character, and they certainly don't diminish your purpose. The truth is, when people betray us, it's often because of their own brokenness, fears, or desires for control. You see, people who are secure in themselves, people who have integrity, don't feel the need to tear others down. But when you face betrayal, you need to recognize that it's a reflection of their limitations, not your failures. The key to not being distracted by betrayal is remembering who you are and whose you are. The pain of betrayal can cause us to focus too much on the people who have hurt us. But the more you focus on what they've done to you, the more power you give them over your thoughts and emotions. Don't let them win by giving them that power. Instead, turn your attention to the God who has already seen the end from the beginning, the one who knows your worth and who has a plan for your life that no one can take away. When you allow yourself to be consumed by the hurt and anger, you are allowing the situation to hold you hostage. You're giving the betrayal the power to control your peace, your joy, and even your future. But you don't have to live in that prison. You don't have to stay trapped in the bitterness of someone else's actions. There will be moments when the pain of betrayal feels almost unbearable. And in those moments, it's easy to want to strike back, to retaliate, to make the other person feel the same hurt they've caused you. But let me remind you of something powerful. Revenge never leads to peace. It never brings healing. You might feel justified in your anger, but revenge only keeps the cycle of hurt and deception going. When you retaliate, you lower yourself to the same level as those who have wronged you, and you give them even more power over your emotions. Instead of reacting out of hurt, choose to respond out of wisdom and strength. Choose to walk away from the drama, the chaos, and the bitterness. Choose to rise above the betrayal and trust that God will handle the situation in His own way and in His own time. He sees what's been done to you, and He will fight your battles for you. You don't have to carry the weight of revenge on your shoulders. God's got it covered. But that doesn't mean it's easy. It's hard not to be distracted by betrayal. When someone deceives you or turns their back on you, your mind can get caught up in trying to make sense of it. You start asking questions. Why would they do this? What did I do wrong? Why didn't I see this coming? But these questions often keep us stuck in the past. They prevent us from moving forward. The more we try to understand the motives of someone else, the more we allow their actions to consume our thoughts. The truth is, people's decisions are their own. You can't control them, you can't change them, and you can't force them to see things your way. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll be free from the power of their betrayal over your life. In those moments, you have a choice. You can choose to stay focused on the betrayal and let it define your thoughts and emotions, or you can choose to keep your eyes on God and the greater purpose He has for your life. The enemy wants to distract you, to take your focus off the path that lies ahead, but you have the power to stay the course. God has called you to greater things. He has plans for your life that go beyond the hurt you've experienced. So don't allow the betrayal to keep you stuck. Don't let it derail the progress you've made. You've come too far to allow anyone's deception to take your peace, your joy, and your destiny. When you stay focused on God and His purpose for your life, you'll begin to see things from a different perspective. You'll start to understand that betrayal isn't the end of your story, it's just a chapter, and like every chapter in a book, it will eventually come to an end. This moment of hurt, this season of confusion will not last forever. God is working behind the scenes to bring about good in your life, even when it doesn't feel like it. He's taking what the enemy meant for evil and turning it around for your good. It might not be easy to see in the moment, but know this. God is not wasting any of the pain. He is using it to refine you, to strengthen you, and to prepare you for the next level of your life. You can't allow betrayal to make you cynical. You can't allow someone's deception to turn you into someone who no longer trusts. God has called you to love, to forgive, and to walk in peace. The hurt you've experienced doesn't define you. Your response to it does. Are you going to allow the betrayal to change you for the worse, or are you going to let it be the catalyst for your growth? Are you going to stay focused on the actions of someone else, or are you going to keep your eyes fixed on the bigger picture that God is painting for your life? The truth is, every betrayal, every moment of deception is an opportunity for you to lean deeper into your faith, to grow in wisdom, and to rise higher. As painful as it is, these experiences shape us. They teach us how to forgive, how to trust in God's timing, and how to let go of the need to control everything. The more you choose to let go of the hurt, the more space you create for God to heal you and guide you into the future He has for you. Don't let betrayal control your thoughts, your emotions, or your actions. Stay focused on your purpose. Stay focused on the call God has placed on your life. The more you keep your eyes on Him, the more you will find peace in the midst of the storm. And when the storm passes and you look back on the betrayal, you'll see that it didn't break you, it made you stronger. It didn't defeat you, it equipped you for what lies ahead. You'll be able to say, what was meant to destroy me only made me more resilient, more determined, and more faithful to the path that God has set before me. And in the end, the one who is betrayed will not be left broken and defeated. The one who has been hurt will emerge victorious. Because while betrayal can hurt, it cannot have the last word. Only God has the final say over your life. You will come through this stronger, wiser, and more equipped for the life that God has prepared for you. Don't let betrayal distract you. Don't let deception derail your destiny. Keep your eyes on the prize and trust that God will use every hurt to bring you closer to the fulfillment of His plan for your life. There are moments in life when everything feels like it's falling apart, when the weight of trials and challenges seems almost unbearable. You face obstacles that feel insurmountable, and you wonder how much more you can take. In these moments, it's natural to question, why me? What is life but a series of choices we make with the courage to try, to build comfort, to retreat? What have I done to deserve this? But it's in the middle of those trials, in the midst of those challenges, that you begin to experience a strength you never knew you had. It's in the pressure, the struggle, and the pain that the clarity of purpose begins to emerge. You see, trials are not sent to break you, they are sent to build you. When you walk through life, it's easy to look at the surface, to see the things that seem perfect from the outside. We see people with their seemingly perfect lives, their happy marriages, their successful careers, and we think that they have it all together. But what we often don't see is the hidden struggle, the battles they face behind closed doors. Everyone is going through something, and everyone will eventually encounter trials. It's an inevitable part of life. But the real question is, how do you respond when trials come your way? There are times in life when everything around you seems uncertain. The road ahead feels unclear and the challenges you face seem insurmountable. You may feel lost, unsure of the next step, or even overwhelmed by the weight of the decisions you have to make. In those moments, it's easy to question whether God is truly watching over you, whether He is guiding you, and whether He is protecting you in the midst of the storm. And so during those times of life, who are the gods? Hey, CFRJ, J. Wagner, oh son. But I want to remind you today that God's protection and direction are not contingent upon how you feel in the moment. His guidance is unwavering, and His protection is constant, even when you can't see it or feel it. Trusting in God's protection means knowing that He is always working behind the scenes, even when you don't see the evidence of it. God is not distant or detached from your life. He is intricately involved in every detail, orchestrating the events that lead you toward His purpose for you. There may be times when you're walking through a valley of uncertainty or pain, and it may feel as though God is silent. But trust me, He is not absent. He is with you, guiding you through the storm. His protection doesn't always look like what we expect it to look like. Sometimes His protection comes in the form of a closed door, a detour, or a delay. His protection in the form of predestination, in the form of, sometimes it comes through a lesson learned in hardship, or even through relationships that were meant to teach you something important. God's protection isn't always about keeping you from pain or difficulty, but about ensuring that you are never alone and that you are always in the center of His will for your life. When you begin to trust in God's protection, you also begin to realize that His direction is always leading you to something greater. You might not understand the twists and turns in the road right now, but as you look back, you will see the divine hand that guided you through every step of the journey. You will see how the challenges, the setbacks, and even the moments of disappointment were all part of His greater plan. It's in these moments that you begin to recognize that God is not just protecting you from harm, but He is also shaping you, molding you, and preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. It's very rare to see this moment of disappointment without a shape over something greater than you can imagine. Trusting in God's direction is not always easy. There will be times when the way forward doesn't seem clear, when you don't know which path to take. You may be faced with difficult decisions and feel as though you're navigating in the dark. But in those moments, remember that God has promised to guide you. He says in His word, "The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame." Isaiah 58:11. God doesn't leave us to figure things out on our own. He is with us every step of the way, leading us toward His purpose, even when the path is unclear. When you place your trust in God's direction, you are choosing to surrender control. You are choosing to let go of the need to have everything figured out and trusting that He will make your path straight. This kind of trust requires patience and faith. It means trusting that even when things don't go the way you planned, or when things don't seem to be happening as quickly as you'd like, God's timing is perfect. He knows the best time for you to move, for you to act, and for you to step into the next phase of your journey. Sometimes God's protection and direction don't look like immediate relief or a quick fix. Sometimes His protection is about keeping you in the season you're in until you are ready for what's next. He knows that if He were to open certain doors too soon, you might not be prepared to walk through them. He knows that if He were to remove certain obstacles too quickly, you might miss the lessons you need to learn in the process. God's direction often involves teaching us to be patient, to trust in His timing, and to wait for the moment when He says, "Now is the time." There will also be times when you are tempted to rely on your own understanding, to lean on your own wisdom, or to follow your own desires. But God reminds us in His word, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him and He will make your path straight. When you trust in God's protection and direction, you are acknowledging that He knows better than you do. You are saying, God, I don't have all the answers, but I trust that I don't understand what's happening right now, but I trust that you are leading me towards something good. Trusting in God's protection doesn't mean that you won't face challenges or hardships. It doesn't mean that you will never experience pain or difficulty. What it does mean is that even in the midst of those challenges, you can have peace knowing that God is with you. He is covering you, shielding you, and working things out for your good. You may not always see the protection, but it's there. God is the one who goes before you, preparing the way. He is the one who stands behind you, ensuring that no weapon formed against you will prosper. And He is the one who walks beside you, offering you peace that passes all understanding, even when the storm rages around you. God's protection and direction also mean that He is never caught off guard by the things that happen in your life. You may find yourself in a situation that feels completely overwhelming, but know that God is never surprised. He is never thrown off course. He is never panicked. God sees everything from a heavenly perspective, and He is working all things together for your good. Even when you can't see the way forward, He is already there, preparing the path, working out the details, and putting things in place to ensure that His purpose for your life is fulfilled. There will be times when you feel like you're walking through a dark tunnel with no light at the end. You may feel like you're stumbling along, unsure of where you're going. But in those moments, remember that God is with you in the darkness. His word says that the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:01. Even when you can't see the way forward, trust that God is your light and He will guide you through the darkness. Trusting in God's protection also means that you understand that He is working in ways you can't always comprehend. There are things happening behind the scenes that you can't see. There are things He is doing in the spiritual realm that you may never fully understand. But rest assured, God is always working for your good. He is always working to protect you, to keep you safe, to keep you in His will, and to ensure that His plan for your life is unfolding exactly as it should. When you trust in God's protection and direction, you begin to walk with a confidence that comes not from your own strength, but from His. You begin to trust in His plan, even when it doesn't make sense. You begin to trust that His way is always better than yours, and that no matter what happens, He is with you. And when you walk with that kind of confidence, nothing can shake you. You become unmovable, not because of anything in your own ability, but because you know the one who holds your future, the one who has never failed you, and the one who has promised to always protect you and guide you along the way. In times of uncertainty, when the path ahead seems unclear, take comfort in knowing that you are never walking alone. God is with you, guiding you, protecting you, and leading you every step of the way. Trust in His protection and direction, and know that He is working everything out for your good, even when you can't see it. Trust that His timing is perfect, His guidance is sure, and His love for you is unshakable. When you place your trust in God's protection and direction, you place yourself in the safest hands possible, and there is no better place to be.